try and block out the noise from absolute vile losers who must just be so profoundly uncomfortable with themselves they can't handle that someone could get to a place that I think, trans people do get to, which is a level of self-acceptance and understanding that I think is really beautiful and profound.
Allow me to introduce you to Elliot Page, or as Elliot's parents used to call they, Ellen. Elliot Page is a Canadian actor who used to be a Canadian actress. Back in 2014, Elliot announced to the world that they were attracted to women. Fast forward a few years later to 2020, Ellen decided to make the courageous decision to transition to Elliot. Elliot eventually decided that identifying with the L and the T, that just wasn't enough. Since Elliot is medically male and is attracted to women, they, I guess, achieved the woke trifecta of identifying with the L, the G, and the T. Hell, who knows? Maybe they can achieve the superfecta and select the B next. Uncle Casey, who cares about any of this? Yeah. That is exactly my point. Elliot Page is one of many actors who were recently miscast in the upcoming huge embarrassing failure, The Odyssey, which is set to be released in theaters this Friday and is already projected to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Opening weekend projections for The Odyssey are just under $100 million, with a budget of $250 million, which is really closer to $500 million once marketing and promotion costs are included. Plus, you gotta remember, Hollywood has to split box office revenue with movie theaters. The Odyssey is already rumored to be nominated for the upcoming 4th annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards, and it's not hard to figure out why. I'm sure Elliot Page is a great actor, but the problem with Elliot Page's latest role, Elliot Page has been miscast. For reasons unknown, Elliot was given the role as Sinon in The Odyssey. What the hell is a Sinon? Yeah, I didn't know either. Full transparency here, I'm no expert in Greek mythology. Uncle Casey prefers reality. I'm not entertained by myths and fantasies. But according to my research, Sinon was a Greek warrior who played a major role in the Trojan horse deception, whatever the hell that means. But as you can see here, Sinon appears to be a badass warrior. So someone please explain to me how a 5'1" actor who used to be an actress is supposed to be believable as a Greek warrior. Elliot Page was not the only actor miscast in the new and improved woke version of The Odyssey. According to Greek mythology, Helen of Troy was a white woman. Now, as you can see here, in past versions of the story told by Hollywood, Hollywood has given the role of Helen of Troy to actresses that resemble her. 1956, Helen of Troy was played by Rosanna Podesta. 2004, Diane Kruger. I guess, in the interest of diversity, the 2026 version of The Odyssey features Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy. This is what diversity looks like. Let me ask you something. If Christopher Nolan, who is responsible for directing and producing this toxic turd, if Christopher Nolan was basing casting decisions on diversity instead of, accuracy, how come there is not a single Greek actor or actress in a film based on Greek mythology? How come the Greeks were excluded from their own inclusive story? That doesn't sound like diversity to me. But that's okay. According to Chris Nolan, the backlash that the Odyssey is currently receiving, it is irrelevant. Matter of fact, according to Chris Nolan, it will have no impact on how the Odyssey performs at the box office this weekend. These conversations always happen before people see the movie. They are so irrelevant. The opinions of these peasants are meaningless. People haven't even seen the film yet. Once they see the polished turd that I produced, they are going to fall in love with my diverse cast. This is the same mistake Hollywood continues to make. Look, I am no expert in producing toxic turds. I'm no expert in producing movies that no one wants to watch. But as someone who has been covering Hollywood for the last couple of years, I keep seeing Hollywood make the same mistakes. It happened with woke Snow White and the non-binary dwarfs. Just happened recently with Supergirl, which instantly became a super turd by losing hundreds of millions of dollars. The most recent projection I saw, Supergirl was projected to lose $290 million. And instead of blaming themselves, instead of blaming the fact that they cast an actress who alienated most of the country, instead of Disney blaming themselves for giving the role of Snow White to an actress that isn't white. And to make matters worse, when promoting woke Snow White, Rachel Zegler, she told anyone who didn't agree with her politically that she didn't want your business. Naturally, people listened, and woke Snow White was a huge embarrassing failure. And instead of blaming themselves, Hollywood continues to blame you. And they continue making the same mistakes, thinking that you will suddenly change your mind and consume their toxic garbage. From the outside looking in, it appears that Hollywood is following the old adage, if you build it, they will come. For decades, this was a great strategy. In the 60s and 70s, when teenagers had 3 channels on television, and more importantly, when parents still somewhat trusted Hollywood with their children, their teenagers, you could release movies, especially during the summer, and expect to see a massive return on your investment. This strategy carried over into the 80s and 90s, most of the 2000s, but 10, maybe 15 years ago, Hollywood was hit with the perfect storm. The industry started focusing on indoctrination instead of entertainment. They started focusing on diversity instead of accuracy. Over time, Hollywood, and especially Disney, they lost the trust of American parents. To make matters worse, attention has never been more valuable because it's never been this scarce. Scarcity creates value. Bored teenagers no longer have to go to the movies to entertain themselves. They have an abundance of entertainment options in the palm of their hands. So the old strategy of if you build it, they will come, that strategy is antiquated. Today, you have to give people an incentive to leave home and go to the movies. And Hollywood, they continue to give people every reason not to go, which is why the movie industry continues to lose billions of dollars every year. You know, right now, streaming platforms, I don't want to say they're at war with each other, but they're definitely engaged in a major competition with each other. Viewers don't know this, but Uncle Casey will give you a little bit of insight here. Platforms are seeking out established creators. They need established creators who can attract and maintain an audience and who create new content daily. I know it seems like there are a lot of established creators, but there's really not. There's a lot of people trying, but last I checked, only 1, maybe 2% of YouTubers are generating enough revenue to do this professionally, do this for a living. These other platforms, they are competing with YouTube for your attention. They need established creators to get and maintain your attention. So what do? They're incentivizing creators to join their platform. In the last 12 to 18 months, I have been approached by TikTok, Rumble, Facebook. TikTok gave me instant monetization, which is fine. It's not great, but better than nothing. Facebook, they offered to pay me a nice flat rate every month, and they also let me keep the ad revenue I'm generating on their platform. To their credit, this is a brilliant strategy. For 3 months, Facebook pays me a flat rate, a minimum rate. This incentivizes me to take advantage by uploading multiple clips every day on their platform. It also incentivizes Facebook to promote me because they want a return on the investment that they're making in me. Then you have Rumble. Rumble gave me instant monetization, which is completely useless because Rumble has no algorithm. In their pitch to me during our meeting, Rumble asked me to bring my YouTube audience over to their platform. During our meeting, I asked them, how does that benefit me? You see, how this works, I give you my content. Your algorithm pushes me to your users. It's up to me to attract and maintain the audience, but you have to provide the audience. Why would I bring my established audience to your platform? Especially considering the fact that you only monetize about 10% of your views. Why would I take a 90% pay cut to move my YouTube audience to Rumble? You want to know why Uncle KC doesn't waste his time uploading on Rumble? I just gave you the reason. There's no incentive. There's no reason for me to do it. I uploaded on Rumble daily for 2 years. They were actually shocked during our meeting that I had close to 1,000 subscribers on their platform because they don't have an algorithm to distribute the content. I don't think I have a video on Rumble in 2 years that eclipsed 1,000 views. I've been uploading on Facebook for 2 weeks now. I already have 2,000 subscribers and 3 clips with over 100,000 views. In this entertainment economy, you have got to incentivize people because there are too many options. There are too many ways for people to spend their time. And for far too long, Hollywood has failed to incentivize people to watch their product. Matter of fact, they've actually done the complete opposite. Hollywood is the equivalent of Rumble. They are giving people every reason not to watch. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.